Welcome to Too Fond of Books. My name is Janelle and this is a tag video. I recently watched Kate Howe's video on this, the Joy of Christmas book tag, and it looked like it was so much fun that I just thought I needed to do this one myself. So I'm going to include in the description box below a link to the original video by the creator of this tag. And so let's just dive right in. Number 1, anticipation. The Christmas excitement is real. What book release are you most anticipating? Now, I don't really watch new releases a huge amount. I tend to read mostly backlist books. But I know of this one because I got an advanced reader copy of it on NetGalley, and it is called The Art of Dying by Ambrose Parry. I'm going to put a picture in here. The first book in this series I read a year or two ago and I loved it. It's a historical mystery set in Edinburgh in the 1800s, and it is about an apprentice, a medical student who wants to apprentice with Dr. Simpson, I believe is his name, who is kind of famous and famously an anesthetist, and he is working on finding better drugs to use for that. And I really enjoyed the book, and so I was super excited to see that there was another one coming out in the series, and that's coming out in January, I believe, of 2021. Number 2, Christmas songs and carols. What book or author can you not help but sing its praises? And for that, I've got two that I want to show you. The first one here is an instance of The Fingerpost by Iain Pears. This is a historical mystery that he wrote in 1998, and I love it. I love it so much. It is a huge book, but it is just such a great story. It's set in Oxford in the 1600s, 1663. So this is during the Civil Wars, I believe, or the Restoration has just happened. I can't really remember, but it's right in that time period. But what I love about this book is the format, the setup. There's 4 different narrators that tell this story, and they do such a good job of slowly revealing the truth of what happens. And because each narrator is focused on what's important to them, that you get different elements of the story, and then you get the truth, because they lie about certain things or omit certain things because they don't really care about that in their own personal issues that are coming up in the story. And so I just really like that setup, and I really like this story. So if you've never read an instance of The Fingerpost, it is well worth your time. And then the other one that I want to mention is the Sebastian St. Cyr series by C.S. Harris. I love this series. I invariably give the books 5 stars. Some of them I've given 4 or 4.5, but like it's a 4 to 5 star book series for me. It's a historical mystery series set in England in the very early 1800s, and it's just, they're really well written, they're really interesting, the time period is really interesting, the characters are great, and as you read through the series you get to know the characters really well. The mysteries are good, there's a lot of social issues that come up in her books, and I just like it said, I can't stop singing its praises. All right, number 3, Gingerbread Houses. What book or series has wonderful world building? I've got 2 for this one as well. I reread the Lord of the Rings trilogy this year, and I don't tend to read a lot of fantasy. I read very little, to be honest, but I absolutely love the Lord of the Rings, and J.R.R. Tolkien has created this world that is epic. It is just epic. There is such a history to this world, and he has not just created a world with history, but languages and maps, and honestly, the world building is amazing. The other one I want to mention, I don't have a copy of, so I'll put a picture up here, and that's Jasper Ford's Thursday Next series. I think he also does just such a great job of world building in this series. So this is one that's kind of, I think I would call it a genre blend. So it's fantasy slash mystery. It's off, the series is often placed in the mystery section in the library, and for good reason, but it is definitely some fantasy as well. So the world that he has built is England in the 1980s, but it's his own world, and it's great. I love that he's like looked at the mechanics of how it works. I mean, her father is like able to move back and forward in time and to stop time. She is able to jump into books. You get books or parts of the books that are set in the book world, and so he's actually created two different worlds, because the book world is its own place as well and has its own rules and characters, and I love it. It's so good. All right, number 4, A Christmas Carol. Favorite classic or one that you want to read? So my favorite classic is The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. I love it. It is just such a good story. There's so much about this that is brilliant. He wrote this in 1867, I think. 1860. So first of all, it is just a really good story. It keeps you engaged. You want to know what's going to happen. It's got fantastic characters. The character of Marion Hardcastle is just... Marion Hardcastle? I think. Anyway, Marion, she is such a good character because she is a woman in a world when women have such little power and such little say over their own lives, and she is able to kind of like burst through those limitations in order to try and find and protect her sister. That's her motivation, and everything she does is about that, and she proves herself to be such a strong character in this time when she really has no power, and the possibility of losing her reputation is constant. It also has one of the best villains ever. Count Fosco is just such a great villain. He is such a good character. So I love it. It is a sensation novel. It feels gothic, which I love as well. Yeah, if you've never read The Woman in White, please give it a try. It is such a good story. And then the other one that I want to say is one that I would like to read, and that is Dr. Thorne by Anthony Trollope. It's the third in his Barsetshire series. So I first read Barchester Towers years ago, not realizing that it was part of a series, and I really liked it. But then like I said, I didn't realize it was part of a series. And then just last year, I read The Warden, which is the first one in the series, which was good. And so I want to now continue on in the right order. And the next one is Dr. Thorne. And I just really enjoy Anthony Trollope's writing. I like the world of Barsetshire, and I want to know kind of what's going to happen next with these characters. Number 5, Christmas Sweets. What book would you love to receive for Christmas? All the books. I love books, and I love receiving books for Christmas. Now, I was inspired for my real answer by Kate Howe. She showed up a Folio Society edition of Middlemarch that was just gorgeous. And so I went over to their site because I was curious. I hadn't really seen any of their books, and I saw an edition of The Murder of Roger Ackroyd that was just fantastic. I'm going to put a picture here. It is a hardcover book that is just gorgeous, and it has full color illustrations inside, which I wasn't expecting. So yeah, if like kind of like my wish list for Christmas, that book would be great. 6, Candles in the Window. What book gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling? So I've got a couple Christmassy books here. I don't tend to read a lot of warm, fuzzy books, but at Christmas, there's just something about that season that like where that feeling is just kind of what you want in a story. So the first one is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I read this every December. It's short and just great fun, and it totally gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling. I love it so much. The opening sentence gets me every time. I just think it is like, it's so good. Marley was dead to begin with. Right? Awesome. All right, and the other ones I want to show are a couple Christmas books by Miss Read. I love Miss Read when I'm looking for just a nice, gentle story, and her Christmas books definitely give you that warm, fuzzy feeling. And so this is The Christmas Mouse, and this is No Holly for Miss Quinn. And the other great thing is that they are just these short little books, almost more like novellas, which is also great. 7, Christmas Trees and Decorations. What are some of your favorite book covers? So, I have a few to show you here for different reasons. So the first one I want to show you is this edition of Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I just think this is gorgeous. I love the contrast in colors, the red flowers and the gold writing. I also love the spine, and sometimes the spine, you know, is paid attention to and sometimes it's not, but I really like the spine on this one, so I think this is a great book cover. I also really like these new editions of the Daisy Dalrymple mysteries by Carola Dunn. These are mysteries that are set in the 20s, and I think these covers just evoke the 20s so well. They just have that feel, and even the colors are right, and the illustrations, the depictions, I just really, really like these editions. And then I recently found this at a used bookstore. This is After the Funeral by Agatha Christie, and this is, I think, like the original book cover for this edition anyway. This is the book club edition from 1954, and I just really like this style of book cover. I like the text, the font, and the colors. And so this just got me thinking and reminded me that I have a little collection of paperbacks that are from the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s that are a style that I just love so much. So I'm going to show you the stack that is from the 50s and 60s first. I've put those together, and I just thought if I show them in those two ways, you'll see what kind of what I'm talking about. So these are from the 50s and 60s. These ones happen to all be Dell books, so that might tell you something. I just really like these Dell covers. So this one's a Mary Roberts Reinhardt. Here's another Agatha Christie. So I don't know what it is exactly. It's just everything together. I like the font. I like the colors. I like the kind of the pictures. I just really, really like this this style. Now this one's awesome. This one is Mary Westmacott, which was a pseudonym for Agatha Christie when she wrote her romance stories of The Giant's Bread. And I actually have a bind up with all of her Mary Westmacotts in one. And so I don't technically need this. I was gonna give it away, but I just can't because I love this cover so much. And one last one, another Agatha Christie, Poirot Loses a Client. So those ones are from the 50s and 60s, and I quite like those, but my absolute favorites are the ones from the 30s and the 40s. So this one is from 35. That's the earliest one that I have. This one is from 1940, 42, 43, 43, 43. Oh, that's a good year. 44, 44. This one is in rough shape. 45, 46, 47, and a lot of these have maps on the back, which is great. 48, and this one is 50, but it kind of still has that feel of the 40s, which is why I'm putting it here. Same with this one. So yeah, I have a definite soft spot for that style of cover. And then the last one here is number 8, Christmas Joy. What are some of your favorite things about Christmas and or some of your favorite Christmas memories? So I'm going to share one favorite memory with you. When I was first married, my husband and I, our very first Christmas together, we were kind of just talking about like how we would do it, what Christmas would look like for us. Since we both came from families that had Christmas traditions, so how were we gonna blend those? What were we gonna do? And it turned out that we both had stockings when we were kids, and that it might be fun if we would continue that and do stockings for each other. And so so we got our stockings from our parents. Can you see? So the minute we got our stockings, we realized that our families had very different ideas of what stockings were. So my mom, she found red wool socks and stitched our names into it, and we would get a stocking. We would find it on the end of our bed when we woke up on Christmas morning, and my parents would always put an orange in the toe and then fill it with candy and chocolate and a few little dollar store kind of toys. And so that was our stocking. Aaron's family, this doesn't even all fit in the screen. I will do it like this. So Aaron's family had a very different idea about stockings. They went all out and just stuffed this monster full of candy and chips and pop and toys, but for his family this was the primary thing on Christmas morning. So that's my funny Christmas memory. I just the very first time we were putting out our stockings, and poor Aaron, he was like, what am I supposed to do with this? It was so awesome. So he quickly got me a stocking that was of a similar size, and we've maintained that tradition. But that's kind of our primary thing for each other, is we fill it full of, office supplies and just notebooks and some candy and whatever. And so anyway, that's my Christmas memory. So this has been a really fun tag video. I don't have anyone specific to tag. If you haven't done this yet and you want to do it, it's a lot of fun. So that's it, and I will see you for another video soon. Bye.